Once upon a time, in a small snow-covered town named Winter Haven, there stood a beautiful church at the heart of the village. It was the kind of church you would expect to see in a Christmas postcard. Stone walls, a towering spire that reached for the heavens, and a large gleaming bell that hung high in the steeple. This bell was no ordinary bell. It was said to be magical. Every Christmas Eve, the bell would ring exactly at midnight, signaling the arrival of Christmas and bringing joy to everyone who heard it. Its sound was known to fill the hearts of the villagers with warmth and happiness, even in the coldest of winters. For generations, the people of Winter Haven cherished this tradition. They would gather in the church square, bundled in scarves and mittens, their faces aglow with anticipation as the clock ticked closer to midnight. The bell's chime was the signal to begin the Christmas celebrations. Carolers would sing, families would share hot cocoa, and the town would come alive with merriment. But one year something strange happened. It was the eve of Christmas, and Winter Haven was more beautiful than ever. Snowflakes danced through the air, and the smell of gingerbread cookies wafted from every home. People were busy in their homes, preparing for the big night. The streets were adorned with twinkling lights, and every window was decorated with festive garlands. All was ready for the grand Christmas Eve service that would end with the ringing of the church bell. As midnight approached, the villagers gathered in the church square as usual, their faces bright with excitement. They looked up at the towering steeple, eagerly waiting for the bell to ring, its sweet sound signaling the start of their holiday joy. But midnight came and went without a sound. At first, the villagers thought it was a mistake. Perhaps the bell had gotten stuck, or the bell ringer had overslept. They waited a little longer, hoping to hear the familiar chime. But the night remained eerily quiet. No bells, only the soft hum of the wind. The people grew uneasy. Some whispered to each other, wondering if something was wrong with the bell. Others tried to make sense of the silence. "Maybe it's just a technical glitch," said one elderly man, his voice trembling with uncertainty. "Maybe the bell has simply grown old." But deep down, the villagers knew that something more was at play. This was no ordinary malfunction. The bell had always rung at midnight without fail for as long as anyone could remember. There had to be another explanation. As the night wore on, the villagers began to disperse, their faces filled with confusion and concern. The joy that had once filled the square was now replaced with a deep, unsettling silence. Among the crowd was a young girl named Lily. She had heard stories about the magical bell all her life, and she had always believed in its power. But tonight, the bell's silence made her heart heavy. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She decided that she would find out what had happened, no matter the cost. Lily made her way to the church, determined to discover the truth. She climbed the steps and entered the dimly lit building. Inside, the grand altar stood silent, with the shadows of the past Christmases still lingering in the air. She approached the pulpit, where an elderly priest, Father Thomas, was sitting, his brow furrowed in deep thought. Father Thomas looked up as Lily approached. "Ah, young Lily," he said softly, "I see you're troubled as well." Lily nodded. "Father, where is the bell? Why didn't it ring tonight?" Father Thomas sighed and stood slowly. "That is a question I have been asking myself all evening. You see, This bell has always been more than just an instrument. It was a gift, a symbol of hope, a promise of peace. It rang every year to remind us of the joy of Christmas, the spirit of giving, and the warmth of togetherness. But now it seems that the bell has stopped. And I fear it is because we have forgotten the true meaning of Christmas. Lily looked at him, puzzled. What do you mean, Father? Father Thomas gazed out the window at the snowy village below. Over the years, winter heaven has changed. People have become more focused on the material things, gifts, decorations, food, than on the true spirit of Christmas. We have let go of the values that made this holiday special: kindness, love, and gratitude. Lily's heart sank as she listened. So the bell stopped ringing because we forgot Christmas? Father Thomas nodded slowly. Perhaps the bell was a reminder, a call to return to what truly matters. And now that we've lost sight of that, the bell has fallen silent. Lily thought for a moment, and then something inside her clicked. But we can fix it, can't we? We can bring the spirit of Christmas back. Father Thomas smiled at her, his eyes twinkling with hope. Perhaps you're right, my dear. Perhaps it is not too late. That night, Lily set out to remind the people of Winter Haven of the true spirit of Christmas. She began by visiting her neighbors, sharing stories of kindness and love, and encouraging them to think about what Christmas meant to them beyond the material things. She asked them to come together, to help one another, and to remember the simple joy of being with loved ones. By morning, the town had come alive with new energy. People who had once been focused on shopping and decorating were now gathering to help one another, volunteering at shelters and spending time with family and friends. The warmth of their actions spread like wildfire, filling Winter Haven with the spirit of Christmas once more. That evening, just as the clock struck midnight, something magical happened. The bells of the church rang loud and clear, their beautiful sound echoing through the village, filling the hearts of everyone who heard it with joy and peace. It was a sound that had been missing for far too long, but now it was back, stronger than ever. The Christmas bell that never rang had finally found its voice again. And with it came the reminder that the true magic of Christmas lies not in the gifts or the decorations, but in the love and kindness we share with one another. And from that day forward, the bell of Winter Haven never fell silent again. Each Christmas Eve, it rang out with a message of hope, reminding the villagers of the magic that comes when they open their hearts to one another. The Christmas bell that never rang had finally found its place in the hearts of the people, and its chime would forever remind them of the true meaning of Christmas.